This one is the Philodendron Plantmas citrus. This came with 3 leaves. One of them died when it first arrived. The second one just recently cut. And this one, the leaves is big. It's like the size of 3 people's heads. I don't know if you can tell. But the humidifier, it was too close to the humidifier and this happened. I think it was cold damage. But it has another leaf that been looking like it want to come up since I first got it. It's in sphagnum moss. I gotta check the roots on that, make sure that is re-rooting good. Varicosum Amazonian Sunset. Doing good. These do not import well. But this one opened up since it's been here, this leaf. These are supposed to be spider magnets, but I have spider mite magnets. I haven't got any. Not one on here. Put this over. And yeah, got a little moss pole. That's been there, that new shoot been there since it came. It was so light when it came. Thought it wasn't gonna make it, but it's doing good in the sphagnum moss. I'll be checking roots on all those imports. So this was another one that I got in October. So this one, I'm excited about this one. It's huge. And the stumps, I didn't know it was good to take the stumps off. This is another Amazonian poly, Alocasia poly or Alocasia Amazonian. This one is pretty big in comparison. And this is my Fryduck, the only Fryduck that I had. This. They're all on Spider Mite Island in the middle of the floor. I call this Spider Mite Island, where they're not touching. It may look like they're touching other plants, but they're not. I know mites can travel, but this is what I can do for it right now. Make sure it's separated. But this is what the mites did to it. I've been treating it, and so far it's looking like the mites are disappearing. I have to get like a moss pole, not a moss pole, build up a moss pole, because it looks like it want to put some more roots down there. And this is my Alocasia Lutherbaca. Name will be at the bottom again. My Lutherbaca, blah, blah, blah. Check the bottom. But this is it. It had a lot of leaves. And of course, the spider mites got to it. It's an easy plant to grow. It's not a problematic plant. This isn't a problematic plant either, except for the spider mites. But that's that. And I'm going to take a break and then come back. Okay, so we back. I forgot a few plants on this side. This is a bromeliad. Now my bromeliads, I'm not sure of the names. I've been trying to research and I can't find it, so I have to do more research. I just picked these things up from Home Depot because they was pretty and I don't know the actual names. But this is another one. This is my Anthurium. Let me see. Okay, so this is my Anthurium olfactor Ethereum Ophateranium. I don't know how to pronounce it. Again, the names is at the bottom of the screen. But it came with 3 leaves or 3 or 4 leaves. Yeah, came with 3 leaves. I had to cut because I guess maybe during the import it didn't like it, so it had like these spots, but they was bigger and one was just covered, so I completely cut that one off. But there's 3 left. I tried to trim them, and then I think it's an inflow. These are mother plants too. Most of my imports are mother plants. I always try to order big plants because of, to me, they're more stronger. They can handle things, and me not knowing what I'm doing half the times, it works in my favor. But I'm noticing that there's a little inflow coming up, which we know if there's a stem growing out of the leaf stem, that's an inflow. I have not gotten any new leaves from this since I got it. Of course, it could be due to the change in weather, and they also have to focus on the roots because they are imports and you got to cut them back. Then we have my, what is this one called?
2 hours later.
This is my Anthurium clarinervium. Now, let me tell you the story about the Anthurium clarinervium. I've been trying to get a mother Anthurium clarinervium for the longest and couldn't manage to snag one at the sales, so I couldn't snag one at the sale for some reason. So I ordered this one through Equigenera USA. No, Equigenera California. Instead of through the, the main branch. And I've been seeing these clarinerviums. I'm like, oh, they're pretty, big, bold, white lines. And I get the clarinervium, and I'm just not, like, I'm happy about it, but not too happy about it. I'm like, it's something missing. Why don't it look like the ones that I've been seeing all over social media and, YouTube and everything? Come to find out, I didn't know there was different clarinerviums. I think the one that I would like is a king clarinervium, and that was the one that I was eyeing. That's the one that I kept seeing and was like, wow. But I still like it. This, of course, I explained to you earlier, and I may have over-ordered it a little bit. But I wonder if this is because of the light. It might be getting too much light, because since I moved it here under these lights, that happened. Like it got more and more whatever. But anyway, back to this one. They call it the cardboard clarinervium, cardboard anthurium or something like that, because the leaves are, it kind of feel like cardboard. This is the solution that they use when they import the plants, I guess, to get rid of any pest or whatever. I tried to clean that off and couldn't get it off. If anybody's watching and knows how to get that, stain off from the solution, please let me know, because I would really love to clean off the leaves. Most of it came off here, most of it came off here, but that leaf, the prettiest leaf, is just covered with it. What else? We was at Spider Mite Island, and I have 2 more of these, by the way, that's isolated, but it's in the kitchen. I have a plant collection in here. I don't know if I'm gonna show that one tonight. It's just a couple bigger plants. I may show it. I'm not sure. I might have to do a part 2. I don't want the video to be too long. So over here is the other part of the table. Call this my prop station 2. It's just a lot of mess because I'm always making a mess and don't have time, but still trying to keep up with my plants. Let's start with the spider plant. This spider plant. So the spider plant is one of my favorites too. It had a little shoot, probably about half of this stem, half of this. It probably had a little shoot about from here to there when I first got it. And this is when I had time for my plants heavily. I would do a lot of misting and, you know, keeping the humidity up and everything. I couldn't do that with this one because work got busy. But these are the babies. I do want to put them, like, I guess, propagate and let them grow into bigger plants. But I think I'm going to wait because I kind of like the way this look. So I might wait for another shoot to come out. This is only 2 plants in one pot. This is probably one of the first plants that I brought when I got back into it. And it's doing good. This is Syngoniums again. I think these are the cupcake. No, coral. Coral Syngoniums. Has a pretty pink. I like Syngoniums. I eventually want to have every one that's out. We have an eggplant. I kind of neglected these guys. I really didn't want it to begin with, but when I ordered some plants, they was given to me free. I have like 3 jars of these, 2 in each. And I don't know, I didn't water it. They say you're supposed to dip it in water or spray it. I would spray it sometimes. It's just hard. It's hard for me to grow these. Or maybe I'm just not giving enough attention. I was scared of overwatering it. And in the process, I don't know if there's any life left in them. But I just don't want to throw it away yet. Because, you know, plants can make us look like fools. Throw them out and then next thing you know, they're growing. So those are 2 air plants. This I'm not really too happy about. Not really too happy about this plant. I know it's probably, it needs to be repotted. It is Napoli lights. Something. I don't even really know what it is. Peperonia. Again, Home Depot. And I really want to give this away. It's always drying out. It just don't bring me what I'm looking for. And I feel like it probably would make somebody else happy. So in the spring, once the weather break, any plants or cuttings or whatever that I'm giving away, this will be one of them. And it don't matter if it's a person online or a person that I know in person, friend, family member. I just hope that it goes to a home where we taken care of and the person will appreciate it. That's it. But I will be giving it away. These are cuttings, photos that had to be cut back off the mother plant. Can't really see. One day I'll do a prop box tour. But these are photos in here. What else? The Monstera. What was that climbing one? The Monstera, I think, is a Retafora. I'll insert the picture. But that's in there with the photos, and it's propping. It's like 2 pieces of the Monstera and then a bunch of baby pieces of photos. Now the photos are very, very tiny. They was like not even there when I first started because it was just a stem with no leaves. That's basically what I cut off the plants. If it didn't have a leaf, the stem got cut so that it can be bushy and you wouldn't have all these bald-headed pieces growing on it. That there is a piece of the Templa Maui. These down here, which you can't really see. in here, you can't really see it again, but those are succulents. Which succulent is it? Let me see. These are monsoon cuttings, and then another succulent cutting that is really like overgrown. It's reaching for light and is basically wrapping around in there. This has been in here since probably the beginning of summer, and I should have been took it out. One day I am going to take this stuff out and you know, get it together. But those are the two that's in there. That was a piece of a succulent that I had gotten. That was a piece of a succulent that I had gotten. That was a piece of a succulent that I had gotten. And then in here, the next one. And this one, you can see a little bit, but that's just an African violet cutting from the African violet plant. I cut off a few leaves that was damaged and propped them. The other ones died because of neglect. If I would have just kept them in this thing or put them all in here and just left it, it would have been fine. I would have had 4 or 5 different new plants. But I did. This is the mother plant. This is where I got it from. And I cut this back, believe it or not. Oh. Okay. This is the mother plant. Believe it or not, I cut this back. And when they tell you don't mess with plants during the winter, remember that we are creating the living conditions in our homes for these plants. So they actually have that growing temps all year round. Maybe a little off depending on, you know, how cold or whatever it is in your house, or if you run a humidifier or whatever. But I cut that back, and it was the fall actually, and I'm here in New Jersey, so it's kind of cold. Okay, I had to cut because I had got a phone call. But this is the mother. I don't know if I said that already. I cut it back to like maybe 3 or 4 leaves, and I am just mind blown about how bushy it grew back to be and more healthier. And you can see which ones, this leaf, also that little leaf back there, those are the ones that was left, which you can tell because of the damage. But my son kept knocking this one over, kept knocking this plant over, so that's another reason why I cut it back, because every time it would knock over, plus I would knock it over, the leaf was getting damaged. So yeah, and it's producing a lot of flowers, which just started like maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and I didn't even think it would do that, but it did. These are more of the same succulents that I showed. Gotta repot them. There's a lot of succulents I'll be giving away too. There's tons of those. They are too easy to propagate. This is another small baby Monstera deliciosa. I had to cut back the plant, so this is one of the babies I'll be giving away. We was battling a little small amount of spider mites. I don't even know how it caught it. I think I did have it over next to the, I had it next to the Alocasia amazonica, the Alocasia amazonica, and that happened. But I cleared it up. Shouldn't be any more, but you know, with the spider mites, you have to keep doing the treatments. Yeah, with the spider mites, you have to keep doing the treatments like weekly. I do it weekly to make sure that they're all gone, because spider mites do lay their eggs inside of the leaves. So you can kill the ones that are, you know, out and moving, but you may still have a cluster shitload of them inside the leaves. So, and you should see me sometimes trying to look inside the leaf through the outside to see if I can see it, so that I can smash the leaf or something some kind of way without killing it, of course. This is, now I bought a Manjula photos. Hold on, I'll tell you right. Yeah, I bought a Manjula photos without. I'll be showing you soon. And for some reason, it was this piece. I think the two oldest leaves, which might be this one, this little one right here, and that one. I pulled that out along with another cutting because my mom wanted a piece of it. And all this from here on up is new growth, but it didn't have any. I noticed after it didn't have any variegation. This looks like it have a little something here, but these, I don't know, because the new leaves, I never seen them look like this. It's like it's not fully green. If you look at the difference, it's like two different leaves. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's when they small, they're green, and as they grow out, they start to change colors or whatever. The new leaves starts to look different. And sorry about the mess. This room will always be messy. I can clean it tonight, and by the morning it's messed up again as long as I go messing with the plants. But anyway, back to this. The leaves, like they're different. These last two leaves. So I'm just making sure. I don't know if it's a different, or maybe it reverted or whatever, but I kept it separated, potted in a different pot. And you know, basically I'll be keeping track of this plant to see what's going on. Like, why don't you have any white into you? Why is you just fully green and not green and white like your mom? But yeah, it's like a neon green going into yellow. I don't think it's from overwatering, because it don't get overwatered. I just took it out of sphagnum maybe 3 days ago. Took it out the sphagnum off, because that's what I propagate in. And then we have, you'll see a bunch of photos that's cut from my grandmother's plant. She has a couple of them, and you know, when the leaves drop and you don't want any bald spots, we just trim it back. And I hate to throw away a plant that has, you know, that's still growing, it's not dead or anything like that. I hate to throw it away, so I end up propagating. I have a bunch of those. Piece of a Chinese evergreen that I propagated, and this is the monsoon succulent. This is the monsoon succulent. That's why it looks like that. All those pieces in there are from here. And again, it kept falling over, and pieces got crushed off, broke off, or whatever. One time my son knocked it over, and a whole shitload, like the whole top just broke off at once. So that's another reason why so many. But yeah, the Chinese evergreen, there's about 3 pots of those. And then these are like some little props inside of this little mini greenhouse. 2 of them. That's I think that's a piece of the moonsun. Succulent. The moonsun succulent, and a piece of some other plant. I don't know. It didn't make it, but I gotta take that out and try to save it. It's so little. This is Enjoy, the Enjoys. And they've been rooting inside of sphagnum moss. I believe the roots even grew into the pots next to it. So yeah, when you pick one up, let's see, it's definitely time to repot them. Yeah, they started growing into each other's pots. I think that's the one that is the one that's connecting it. But I'll cut these and I'll be putting them all into one pot. And that's another 2 pieces of succulents that I got. And you can't really see because of the humidity, but it's rooting. It should be time to come out too. Should be time for that one to come out as well. Then we have the Sigonian. I forget which one it is, but this is the more common one. Just took it out of the sphagnum moss and then putting it into soil. This one, which is the biggest, greenest, beautifulest one, is being a complete jerk. It's acting like it don't want to be with the family anymore. So we'll see if that one's gonna hold on or go away. But I just repotted this from the sphagnum into the soil about 2 or 3 days ago too. This is the other, I think this is the golden photos, but the bigger, I can't remember if they have a different name, but it's the big ones. This is the Hawaiian photos. The Hawaiian photos, this is the other node. It had a big piece, but the node ended up rotting, so I had to cut it off. So I don't even know if I'm going to get those big 16-inch leaves, which is the reason why I said I just might order another plant, another node rather, and possibly a top cut. I'm in no rush though. This, I know if you let these climb too, if you mimic nature and let them climb, because they normally climb up tree trunks, they get bigger. That's the reason I put the stick in this one, to see if that would help. So far, I don't really see a difference, but we'll see as time go on. Maybe the spring, most of it's growing in the spring. This is another succulent. This is, they call it the aloe succulent, I believe. The scientific name, I don't know the scientific name, but I did write, let me see, Nabellus aloe, which needs to be repotted. It's top heavy. That's why I have the rocks on there, because that one just constantly falls. So I have to repot that soon. I don't have any more big pots. I think all I have is like, if these are 4-inch pots, but those are the only size I have, and a bunch of them, because they come in, when you buy plants. Those are, if you get them like a medium or small, whatever, they're always in this pot, and they're most of the time always root bound. This is a pepper plant. It's just a pepper plant that I was experimenting with this spring, I believe. I wasn't growing it properly when I first started, but now that it's colder, I started giving it more attention, and now it's producing peppers. But I've been picking them off. I have to repot it. The soil that I have it in, it has just way too much drainage. I gave it an Aroid soil, so it dries out quickly, and it got a crazy root system. But this spring, hopefully, well, as you can see, I should be able to pick some peppers off of there. I had a tomato plant, but tomato plants are spider mite prone too, and tomato plants are spider mite prone too, and they tore that plant up. That was actually the very first plant that I ever experienced spider mite with, so I just Let's be honest, I panicked and threw that whole plan away because that was my first time experiencing spider mites that I knew of and didn't know what to do. So what better option than to throw the whole thing in the garbage? Which was stupid, but I did. This is a piece of that golden photos, the bigger size. I'm not sure if they have a different name for the bigger size photos, but these are the original leaves from the cutting, and this is all new growth. And then this plant, I don't know what this called, but this is another one that needs to be repotted because it dries out quickly. I don't have any big pots. I have to order some. I think I might get like the soup containers because pots can cost a lot. Like price wise, it can cost a lot. I haven't found any cheap ones like for bigger sizes. And the plastic ones that I use for the anthuriums, I don't want to use them on regular plants. But this is another one. This is called, let me see, what is this called? Ardisia humulis. Ardisia humulis. What the fuck? I don't know much about this plant. I fertilize it whenever I fertilize the other ones and water it whenever I see that it needs water. But the foliage looks nice. I think it's supposed to produce a flower. I can't remember how the flower look. I Google searched it one time and that was it. So I don't really want to give it away, but I guess this spring or summer I'll check it out. Yeah, this spring or summer I'll check it out and see if there's something that I want to keep. It's doing pretty good. It has pretty leaves. The new leaves have like a burgundy with a light green, and then the older it gets, the darker it gets. What's the other one? And then we have pineapple plants from pineapple tops. I'm one of the ones that will save kitchen scraps and try to grow a plant from it. So this is one of them. Doing pretty good. The cut leaves is from when I was rooting it. It's doing pretty good. Hopefully one day I'll be able to pick a pineapple. This is the second one. It's a little smaller, not that much smaller. Sitting next to each other for comparison. So these are the two close to each other. One is a little bit smaller than the other one, but not too small. Maybe one day we'll have, the foliage is nice on its own as long as you keep up with it. These sliced pieces, these was the ones that came with the top when I cut it off. So, you got to trim back the dead parts. And the ones that, don't have any damage to the tips is the new ones that grew. They did well with the transplant. They are top heavy. I think I need to put them in a bigger pot because it's easy for them to fall over and they dry out pretty fast. What's next? And then we have, let me move this. Then we have the mandula. Let me try to get a good. This is the mandula. I've been told when you let them climb, the leaves start to go into a more circular, like, as you can see, like photos. And I noticed that it's kind of true. Instead of it having like, let me see, a fat, wider, like rounder, instead of it having like a rounder, trying to find a good leaf. Here's one. Instead of it having like a wide circular, like, I don't know what shape, like a circular shape, it gets like narrow and like maybe this one. It has a basically the leaf has a different shape when you just let it grow and grow down or something like that. Oh my God! They get bigger when you put them on a pole. I think, whose video was I watching? Plant Parenthood on, that's her name on Instagram and YouTube, but I was watching her YouTube video. Her mother had one and she staked it up and the leaves would get bigger, but it would lose like that. Is the shape that it has. It's just a different shape that they have, and it's a pretty shape. And I see what she was saying, because the mom was mad because she was a little upset that they was starting to look like regular photo shapes, but the leaves would get bigger. I definitely see the difference. I like the ones that are not climbing, and I think I might take the pole out. I don't know, because now, yeah, it's like it's more rounder, or she was saying it would get more narrower or something. Like, this is narrow, but it's an older leaf. It might have been on when I bought it. So I don't know. But I did take cuttings of this one too. And I gave it to my mom. But yeah, so I like this shape more than I like the regular photo shape. So I might be taking this pole off, but we'll see. Or maybe I'll cut another piece and have one grow up a pole and one don't. Just let it grow down. I think that's, oh, I can try to show you guys. This is the stump from the, it looks horrible. This is the stump from the Pastazanium, the second one. That's, so this is the stump from the Pastazanium, along with 2 cuttings of, let me move this plant out of the way. Okay. This is the stump from the Pastazanium that I showed you. The second one that they sent that I had to cut. The stumps looks horrible, but if I take it out, you'll see that the thing is rooting and doing well. That little piece that grew up from there, the new growth. I didn't take it off yet. I will soon. And then you have 2 pieces down here. Those are the cuttings, the 2 nodes. And they are just starting to sprout. As soon as I put them in it, they started to sprout. Then I have the other pot box, which is this one. And it has a lot of poly Amazonica, Alocasia poly, Amazonica poly. There's a lot of those in there. You have a Fraduck, but they're called something that start with an M. Can't never remember it. And open it up. Okay, it's a little moist in there. But this is my Alocasia seedling box. We have black velvet, dragon scales, silver dragons, products, the poly Amazonica, there's a bunch of them. And you can't really see, is mellows in there too. You can't really see everything. Like, to me, you can't tell, but it's a lot. Like, it's a shitload of them. A lot of them in here. A whole lot of them. Whoa. I don't know the name of these. Well, I can't remember the name of these succulents, but these were pieces that I rooted fresh out of the propagation bags, along with the other ones. I will include the name at the bottom, but they are looking good so far. I don't know if that's a dead leaf, the yellow thing right there. But yeah, they're looking good, rooted and everything. I'll be transplanting them soon. Yeah, this is he and she in all their glory.